Hi, everybody. I'm coming to you today live from Mount Lake Terrace, coming to do another vlog today. And I had to do it again because my vlog was too long, I guess, for the YouTube thing. But that's okay. We'll come again with some tips that I have regarding communication. I wanted to talk about that today because, well, I want to talk about some things about my marriage with Matt, my hubby, my sweet, wonderful husband, and the love of my life, and how wonderful it is to have him in my life, and why our relationship works so well. Although we're newlyweds, we've been dating a long time. Well, not too long, but long enough to know some things about each other. And communication was and is one of the most vital parts of a good relationship, I'm going to say. Um, how do you do it without communication? I don't know. It's not uh, easy, and it doesn't really work very well. I've done it before, and it hasn't worked very well for me. So now I know that communication is a vital part, and I try to make sure to be an open communicator. Communication is not my strong suit. It is not one of the things that I do well in a relationship. And so I really am pushing myself to be a better communicator. But with Matt, it's really easy. He has a really intensely relaxed vibe, so he's easy to talk to. I never feel like he's going to use something that I say against me later on, and he's really open to the things that I say. And he actually listens, because one of the things about communication is not only talking, but it's listening. And I know that women like to talk. We talk way more than men, but listening is an important part. And listening to your partner and what his needs are, and what he's going through and things, and trying to address those things. I don't discount things that he said. My husband loves talking to me, and it's kind of odd because he can be rather shy. He can be shy around my family, and he can be shy around his own family. And I usually tell everybody, "Wow, he's never shy with me. When we first met, he was kind of shy, but after a while, he is a talk box. He likes to talk, and usually once a day we talk to each other on the telephone." And I asked him once why he talked to me on the telephone, and he told me because he liked hearing my voice. And and we talk a lot at night. He comes in and he talks about his job. He's a engineer, a manufacturing engineer, and he works in aerospace, so he has a lot to say about his job and what's going on and stuff like that. And so we talk a lot about that, issues he may be having and things like that. So we talk quite a bit. We're also really good at not talking. We're okay. We have comfortable silences, as I like to say, and stuff. So we don't have to be talking all the time. We're very comfortable with one another and communicating with one another. And I think that's important, that you be comfortable communicating with the person you're with. Whatever way you choose to do that is fine. But communication is an important part of having a functional and wonderful and happy relationship. And I'm not talking about communication where every other day it's a complaint or a moan and a groan. Communication should also include all the things that you love and appreciate and are grateful for about your partner. No one wants to hear all the bad things about themselves. Most of us know all the bad things about ourselves, and we don't need to have it driven into us every day as if we aren't aware of it and made to feel even worse. That's on the subject of nagging, which never ever works. And I'm going to just give every woman out there a little tip: don't nag. I know men do it too, but women were really bad at it. It doesn't work. It only makes your partner resent you and maybe become passive aggressive and do things just to piss you off. So nagging doesn't work. The best thing to do is to maybe bring up an issue that maybe you're having with a person and try to communicate and talk about why you're having the issue and what is the issue about. Everything should not be an issue. Every little thing that happens should not be an issue. Every little thing that happens should not be a battle royale. There are things that are really important for you to keep open communication about. Not everything. And it's also important that you kind of gauge what things you want to say to people. The truth in love is a wonderful thing, but let's be honest. A lot of us are not saying the truth in love. We're saying the truth because we're really kind of pissed off at somebody and stuff. And honesty is a good policy, but honesty that hurts feelings, especially feelings of the people that you love, is not such a great thing. There's also, we also have to be careful about what we say to the people that we love. Everything. I know Matt's sensitive about some things, and he knows I'm sensitive about some things. So some things that we don't really kind of egg each other on about and make each other feel bad about. And I think that's a really good thing. I'm always really happy that he understands, those things. And if I have an issue with him, I bring it up. It's not something that, I don't, everything that happens between us, I don't bring up and I don't go into a big to do about. Important things I talk to him about, but things that are non essential, I just let go. You have to pick your battles, and everything should not be a battle. We shouldn't be doing this thing like we're children and want our way all the time. A lot of what you do with communication is learn how to compromise with one another. And when you're first dating and communicating with each other, you want to be open about some things. You don't want to be open about everything because you're just meeting that person. But once you move into a long-term relationship, committed relationship, or a marriage, those things that happen in past relationships, people always ask, well, should you say something? Should you not say something? Well, no, you shouldn't say, yeah, I can't pretend that 12 years of my life did not happen. So I tell him some things. I do not go into the gory details about everything that happened, but I do tell him some things. I tell him some things that happened. I also tell him what I learned from those things and how I changed, because going through a relationship for that long changes people. It makes you into another person. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't do the thing where you're beating up the ex or talking bad about the ex or talking about this or that. Because really with people, when you do that, the only thing that makes them think is that maybe you're bitter and maybe you haven't gotten over your ex and maybe you need a little bit more time and it may be time for them to kind of exit left stage, and stuff. So, when you've gotten over things and when you're ready to move on, yeah, you can talk about that without all the hurt and the pain showing back up. So those communications are important. Also, communication about sex and money. I know we hear a lot about people saying that, oh, most people get divorced over sex and money. Really, people don't get divorced over sex and money. They get divorced over lack of communication about sex and money. It is important to communicate about those things. Rest assured, ladies, I know everything my husband does with the money in our household. He knows everything that I do with my money in this household. We know which bills are getting paid. We know what we're going to do with money. Nobody does anything around here without discussing it with the other person. And that's how you keep open communication. Nobody hides things. We're not doing things in the background. We're not buying things and stuff like that without the other one knowing. I don't really have any problems regarding money. We're very open about money, about our use of money. We're very open about what we spend, what we need to save, and things like that. What things need to be done with money. That's never an issue in our house, and I'm so glad that we don't keep secrets like that, because those sorts of secrets can really hurt. I think a lot of people during this time, especially during this recession, are going through that because people have been hiding money secrets for a long time, and now a lot of that stuff is coming out. I also want to say that you have to be careful about making sure you talk about sex and sexual relations. Oh, it's so embarrassing. No, listen, you've been in a relationship with this person for a long time. You're married to this person. Everything you should be able to know about some of that stuff. At this point, you're not really too worried about your husband wanting to jump out of the closet in a clown suit or whatever. But there are things that he needs to know, especially men. For some reason, women seem to think men can read minds. They don't read minds. Neither should you have to read minds. People should know what happens with the other one during sex, what turns them on, what gives them orgasms, all that kind of stuff. You should be open about that stuff. How do you keep a good sex life? With communication. Because I'm just going to be truthful. Most men do not have any idea what to do with women, especially different women. Even though he may have had sex in the past with another woman, that doesn't mean all that stuff he did with Sally Joe is going to work with you. So you have to be open and let him know. Let him know what he needs to do and what needs to happen. Don't berate the man when you do it, but let him know. Be open about those communications. It helps sex. It helps make for a great, wonderful sex life. And being open, being able to know that you can talk about those things helps you relax and, relax in bed and relax in those intimate moments. It creates intimacy in your relationship. I would highly recommend doing that, and just highly recommend doing, any exercises or any things that will help you do communication even better. Of course, there are boundaries and things that we want to keep private and to ourselves, but I should be able to ask my husband anything, and he should be able to ask me anything, and we should be able to freely communicate about those things without feeling guilty or without feeling shame about those things. And I think that's what happens between Matt and I, and I think that's what makes it so wonderful. I'm so thankful for him that he lets me open up and communicate, and he listens to me, and he supplies my needs, and I can supply his, and we're working as a team here, in our marriage. So I thank God so much for that and for him and who he is and the man that he is. So when it comes to communication, it wasn't easy for either of us, but we're getting better and better at it every day. Okay, well, that's my advice blog for this week, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.